What's up guys, my name is Aaron aka Super Liger Tiger and this is Worth It. Welcome back everyone. In case you forgot what Worth It is, I buy a product, I tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and in the comments below, you let me know if it's worth it or not. And while you're here, make sure to like and subscribe so I can continue to make more fun videos like this. So today on Worth It, if you remember back with Worth It 10, I talked about the OLED switch. But there was something I didn't talk about when I talked about the switch itself. And hopefully this doesn't happen to you guys, but when I use the switch on handheld mode a lot, my hands actually do start to cramp up. It's mostly in the right hand, and I actually have never known why, if it's like how the grip feels with the Joy-Cons, if there's just not enough space to like grab and kind of like have an ergonomic hold and whatnot. Therefore today on Worth It, we might actually have a solution for that. So today on Worth It, we will be talking about the Hori Split Pad Pro Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch. Let's open it up. So here is the Hori Split Pad Pro. It's licensed by Nintendo, so it looks like all the other Switch boxes and everything like that. Opening it up in the back has a small thing of tape that I don't even know if I just cut through it right now. And we just turn this, lift it up, and it's kind of weird that we open from... Actually, no, that's my fault. You open from the top. I am dumb. You don't do that because it has tape on the side here. So instead, we'll be cutting these, if I can actually cut it, on here, and also on here, cut that. And now, to actually open it up, instead of from the bottom, you just lift the top, open, and it's inside this like plastic, and they're already like revealed right here. I got these in black, they're in multiple colors that I'll explain kind of near the end. But also inside the box, pretty empty. You have your instruction manual, and actually just the instruction manual. On the sides of the box, you just have what it looks like on the Switch. Same thing on this side. On the back, it's just basically what the controllers are, what the D-pad, or it has a D-pad, has the programmable triggers that I'll try to figure out how to use them, and the buttons and everything like that. So without further ado, let's get these out and give you guys a quick first impressions. So some last notes before I get into the first impressions. This box feels exactly like the OLED Switch box, which is pretty interesting to me that most of the Switch packaging all feel the same. This is plastic and it feels like plastic. Taking out the controllers, they don't actually have as much weight to them as I thought they would. These feel pretty light, like more than usual light, like more than Joy-Con light, which is kind of weird to me. I thought these were going to have more weight. The plasticky doesn't feel like it will resist like a huge drop. It, in a way, kind of feels cheap, which is kind of disappointing to me, since I thought these were going to basically be like Joy-Cons, but more like ergonomic. And, it doesn't look like there's a way to, or there's a battery or anything in them like the other Joy-Cons, but maybe I might be wrong when I plug it in and they start charging on the Switch itself. The buttons feel, I guess, normal. They're not like squishy. They're not really like defined. Like they don't feel like great to push. They just feel pretty normal. On the sides there is, if you can see it here, hopefully, maybe not, there is some grippiness to the sides that I guess is to like kind of help the grip overall. But I also kind of thought these would like protrude out more so that I'd be able to like grasp them better. In a way, I was kind of thinking it'd be more like the PS5 controller, the DualShock, but maybe I just kind of overestimated. Anyway, let's get these on the Switch. Now, luckily, the cool part about switching Joy-Cons is it's easy. On the back, there's buttons on here that you push, slide up, and then you just take the new one and slide in, which has that nice click that I love so much about it. And same thing, button on the back, slide in, click, and it's good. So it does look like my Switch has actually increased in width compared to using the Joy-Cons, so maybe that'll help. But if you were looking for like a travel option, this might not be like great to have them on. You might want to like switch back to the Joy-Cons and then switch over to these when you do have a chance, because this just feels really wide to like pack in a case or anything like that. It also does have these, like, I don't know how to describe them, but there's like this plastic part right here that's just kind of coming out, and I wonder if that's to hold the Switch down so that it doesn't like tilt all the way, so that if you do want to play down, I'm actually not sure. I'll try to figure that out more. But yeah, the Switch does feel a lot wider with this on. So after a few hours using the Hori Split Pad Pro controllers, I didn't feel any cramping in my hands, which is basically the objective of what these were, which is so far done its job. What I did notice is while using it within the first hour, my wrist started to hurt, but that might just be the change in how I had to hold the Switch itself. Instead of the Joy-Cons being like right next to it, this one has the expanded like space that you gotta kind of adjust your hands for. The grip itself did help a lot, even though it doesn't look like much. And I like that a lot as well. Now, comparing the buttons and the analog sticks to the Joy-Cons themselves, obviously with the Joy-Cons, because they are a much higher price, they have a better like clicky feel. The plus and minus buttons for the Hori Split Pad Pros are probably the softest ones. I don't really feel any satisfaction pushing them. When I push like the A, B, Y, X buttons, everything just, it's not as like stiff as the Joy-Con, but it does feel responsive. I like the L and R and the ZL-ZR a lot. They do feel pretty good to click on. The Joypad, or not Joypad, yeah, Joypad, no? Either way, it feels pretty good. I think it's comparable to using the Joy-Cons, and the analog sticks are pretty good as well. Now, as I did kind of mention before, there are 4 buttons, 2 new ones for each of these Hori Split Pad Pros, Assign and Turbo. For the Assign, what that does is on the back, there are, as I also mentioned, 2 other buttons that you can like assign different buttons to. So if I want to instead use more of my middle finger and push this instead of like my index finger for the A button, I can just press down on FR and then press the A, and then it'll be able to just assign that as the current button. And then besides that, there is a turbo button, which I just honestly thought made games faster, but it actually doesn't do that. While looking up in the manual what exactly turbo button is, and also along with the manual, it folds out like this, so it's kind of like a treasure map. Basically what the turbo kind of does is that it will allow continuous rapid fire without having to hold the button. I actually don't know what I would be able to use that for, but what I guess might be cool is if you are using turbo, it does have 3 speeds. You just push the turbo button and then the analog stick up or down and it changes the speed of it. I don't know what I would be able to use the turbo button for, but hopefully if I ever do, then it'll be useful for me. But for now, I actually really just don't know. Now, I guess there's one last test. We have a switch dock, and what's it look like in a switch dock? And should you keep it in one as well? So here we go. Here's switch dock, switch, and I lower it in, and it just looks like it sticks out a lot. If I set it down back here, kind of off in the background, which you can't really see, so let's adjust. So kind of looking at it, and I'll move it closer, it doesn't really look like there's a big issue with in terms of the controller hitting the ground or like touching it. It looks like it sits nicely in the switch dock. There doesn't really seem to be any issues. Switch does kind of rock around in the dock, but that's just the Switch. It doesn't look like it's gonna tear off the weight balance. It's not even the right terms or anything, and it looks like it'll fit just fine in case you were worried about that. So everything's cool with that. So overall, this was a pretty straightforward review for the Hori Split Pad Pro controllers. They fit pretty well in the hands. The grip on here is nice to hold as well, and after hours of playing, I didn't really have any cramping, and it was just kind of pretty cool to hold overall. I do wish that these were more I guess sturdier, probably have more like, I guess harder plastic, kind of like how Joy-Cons are, where they do feel like they have some like weight, they have some like density in them. These just feel pretty light. They feel like if I were to drop them, it would just break pretty instantly. The buttons are pretty good, except for the plus and minus, and I guess the capture button and the home button, they are the squishiest ones, which I guess don't really bother me because I don't use those as much. Analog sticks are good, and I think this is a pretty good product that could be better if it was a little bit more, I guess for a lack of a better term, less cheap feeling. Now, if you are looking on getting your own Hori Split Pad Pro controller, you can actually find these right now on Amazon. The one I got is the translucent black, and those right now are $40. But if you think translucent black is a little too boring for you, the other options they have are black and gold Pikachu, ooh, Mega Man, ooh, Midnight Blue, ooh, Monster Hunter Rise, Pac-Man, Pikachu and Charizard, Pikachu and Eevee, Pikachu and Lucario, Pokemon Arceus, Sonic, and Volcanic Red. So you have a lot of choices for you to choose from if you don't want to just get a plain black one. But the only thing is, for a lot of the other colors, especially the Pokemon ones I just mentioned, the price of those Hori Split Pad Pro controllers are now at $60, which for me, I personally do not feel that this would be a great $60 product. If it started to feel more like how Joy-Cons feel, then maybe it would be a much better spend if you were to go for the $60. That's probably the biggest reason why I also went for translucent black, is not only was it in stock, since these were kind of hard to find for a little bit, but it was only at $40, which is, I feel, a okay-ish price point for these. But $60 might be a little too much, especially for how not strong they feel in the material and how kind of flimsy they are overall. So overall, this product is not exactly the best, but it's also not the worst. It's kind of in between everything, which I guess really makes it just a kind of overall average product in my eyes. Hopefully, if you guys are also having hand cramps, that you guys buy this, try it out, and let me know as well. So in the end, is it worth it? Let me know!